I look like this because I heard that Kamala Harris might want to run for governor of California. We have a lot to cover in this video. Hey, so apparently Democrats like Governor Gavin Newsom are freaking out about Donald Trump's victory, calling an emergency session. We'll touch on that and Trump's response in just a moment. But also, I want to dive into the campaign spending comparison between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. Some people on social media are claiming that Harris is $20 million in debt after raising $1 billion and losing all of the swing states. Let's analyze some of these claims and just get right to the truth. First, it is true that Gavin Newsom has called a special session in Sacramento for December 2nd to quote-unquote safeguard civil liberties, environmental protections, and reproductive rights in anticipation of policy conflicts with Donald Trump. Now, this is, first of all, a little odd to me because like, if you really want to call a special session, you could just do it now. Like, why wait until December 2nd? Like, just call the session and then, hey, here's how we plan to deal with it. But Democrats in California aren't really big on actually giving you plans. They just say they're going to do things and then it doesn't really get done. Now, I feel like I've earned the right to say that after running for governor in California and trying to take down Newsom myself with an actual detailed plan and actually winning in San Francisco, which was crazy. I mean, that place needs the most help against Larry Elder. And then, of course, putting out a full detailed plan, which I thought was very, very useful. I mean, how controversial is it to have financial education in schools? How controversial is it that nobody should sleep on our streets? I feel like I was running on pretty uncontroversial things, things that would have been good for California, but oh well, we got stuck with more Newsom. Anyway, Newsom, one of the reasons he's talking about this idea of clashing with Trump on, let's say, environmental protections is heavily due to California having basically, here are the EPA guidelines, okay? And let's actually put them like right here for oil and natural gas and utilities. And then like, here's California. They make it really hard to actually grow in regulated spaces. And so that actually increases the cost of doing things like building homes or natural gas infrastructure or oil infrastructure astronomically, and that increases the cost of living in California, which basically increases the welfare state that you have in California. And Gavin Newsom and I think their cronies, they stay in power because they have all the friends in the right places. Like when I went to court of fighting during the campaign, I was advised by lawyers who deal with Sacramento judges all the time that the whole point of being a Sacramento judge is not to be a Sacramento judge. It is that the governor of California often goes on to become president, and then the president can appoint you to a federal seat. So the Sacramento judges always take care of the California governor. Maybe that's what they call the deep state. Anyway, and this idea about calling an emergency session in anticipation of policy conflicts with Trump regarding reproductive rights, I think Trump has made it pretty dang clear that he's leaving rights to the states. In fact, Florida just rejected abortion protections for women in Florida beyond, for abortions beyond 6 weeks, which actually came as a surprise because even Arizona passed abortion protections. But I want to show you Donald Trump's response to Newsom. After that, I want to show you Kamala Harris's campaign spending. We actually have the real document here, including what you won't believe, well, maybe you would believe it, $1 million to Oprah Winfrey and potentially $100,000. Now, this one is a little hard to corroborate because it's just not like clearly itemized on there, but potentially as much as $100,000 for Kamala Harris to have a custom set on the Call Me or Call Her Daddy podcast. Yeah, this. $100,000 for a one-time use throwaway set? What? Could have bought a Cybertruck. Come on, man. Come on. Support Elon. Oh, wait, that's the other side. Whatever. Anyway, so just continuing on this. California is basically threatening to challenge Trump legally. You have the governor of Washington even saying, look, we sued Trump 97 times and we only lost 2 cases while in office. Hey, they said that. Then the Wall Street Journal actually broke this down, and they were arguing that the first Biden administration had 60 lawsuits by Republican attorneys with 60% wins. The first Trump administration had 160 lawsuits against it, and Democrats won 83% of those. Now, a little different than that reference from that Washington governor who was basically implying a win rate in the 80 or 97% range. But whatever. Gavin Newsom says he wants to be the heart of resistance in Donald Trump's first term. And actually, what's really fascinating about that is if you look at how California has changed, it's actually starting to lean more to the right. I was talking to my dad about this with dinner the other night, and one of the things that he was saying is he's like, I wouldn't be surprised if California becomes Republican at some point in the future. They have 53 electoral votes. They would be the biggest swing state. I mean, they make up as many electoral votes as like 5 of the normal swing states like Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, whatever. Actually, California, I think, is 54 electoral votes, and the next 5 combined are 53. That's more of the accurate math. But anyway, look at the shift to the right over here. It's pretty incredible. This was 2020 over here, during COVID, where everybody basically was afraid to vote for a Republican because they were going to kill you, was the pitch back then. I had to deal with it in 21 too. They're like, they labeled Larry Elder as to the right of Trump, and he's going to kill your children. It's when like the Delta variant was going around and everybody's getting sick with Delta and masking was back. It was just a disaster. Anyway, Donald Trump responded to this with Governor Gavin Newsom is trying to kill our nation's beautiful California. For the first time ever, more people are leaving than coming in. You gotta clarify this a little bit. Yes, more people have left California during the COVID years, but what you're finding is you're getting sort of a concentration of poverty. More lower income folks are leaving the state, and more higher income folks are coming in, potentially due to business or job opportunities. And we can corroborate and dispute these things in really different videos, but there's a lot more nuance to be broken down here. But look, I get it. People hate on California. I still think there's hope in the state, but trust me, the California state politics are very, very broken, and we need a lot of change out here, okay? We need help. Good people are still here, okay? It's just the politicians and the system is rigged. Don't even get me started on how the media exposed the Newsom administration when I was running for governor, but whatever. He is using the term Trump-proof California as a way of stopping all of the great things that can be done to make California great again. But I just overwhelmingly won the election. People are being forced to leave due to his and others' insane policy decisions. People are leaving because of Newsom's decisions. This is true. Like the ridiculous rerouting of millions of gallons of water a day from the north into the Pacific Ocean rather than using it free of charge for towns, cities, farms dotted all along California. They're making it impossible to build a reasonably priced car. The unchecked and unbalanced homeless catastrophe, the cost of everything. Sure, the cost of everything is high in California. The homeless control situation is out of control. Also, as an agent for the United States of America on voting in elections, I will be demanding voter ID and proof of citizenship that are necessary components of the voting process. Oh, well, that might almost certainly, how should you put it, turn California to the right. By the way, that argument from Trump on the water diversion comes from this. This is a New York Times piece, which obviously leans left. In a drought, California is watching water wash out to sea. Heavy storms have flooded parts of California, but the state has been unable to capture billions of gallons of water that are flowing unchecked into the ocean. LA is embarking on an ambitious new program to change that. LA built what is widely considered one of the most sophisticated urban flood control systems in the world, designed to hold waters back from massive Pacific storms like the ones that have recently slammed the state. After a series of downpours over the week, dumped up to 9 inches of rain from the mountains, some 8.4 billion gallons of water were impounded behind 14 large dams, easing floods and building up valuable stores of water. But in a state that is weathering a crippling multi-year drought, this was in 23, much larger streams of water, estimated at tens of billions of dollars, have been rushing in recent days straight into the Pacific Ocean, a devastating conundrum for a state whose future depends on any drop of water it can get. The era of great dam building has passed long ago, blah, 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 blah. Basically, the argument Donald Trump is picking up on is there is a natural flow of water from the mountains. California has mountains right on the edge. Like, You literally, within like a 10-minute drive, you go from mountains, sometimes with snow on them, to houses, to beach. And so when it rains, yes, water flows off the mountain, goes through barrancas and out to the ocean. This is actually pretty normal. But anyway, let's get to Kamala Harris's campaign step ending. So in addition to this call her daddy thing, I wanted to point out a few things over here. So first of all, she had $997 million in total disbursements authorized. This is about $1 billion to various different committees and otherwise. The Wall Street Journal has a little, and this is straight from the FEC, the Federal Election Commission. This is a little different than what the Wall Street Journal is outlining here, and I think that's because they have supposedly, per the Wall Street Journal, some money left over that the Harris administration raised $1 billion, and they still have $200 million somewhere in coffers. This is a little challenging to determine exactly, because then you have the New York Post that is claiming, based on rumors that they heard, that there are up to $20 million of debt that have not been paid yet. The New York Post is actually just referencing this tweet from Christopher over at Politico, the California bureau chief, and he just references a rumor here that Kamala Harris's campaign ended with at least $20 million in debt, per two sources familiar. And Harris raised over $1 billion and has about $118 million in the bank as of October 16th, which, it's probable that 118 was spent right before. So it's possible. So I'm going to call this one unclear as to whether they still have money left over or not. But I do think it's really interesting to go through some of the specific campaign spending for Harris. Maybe we'll do this for Trump separately as well. Some of the things that I wanted to highlight over here is you see Gusto right here, $34 million in payroll for a campaign that was 3 months long. That seems like a lot. I mean, in a 3-month period, just annualize that payroll for a moment. If I multiply 34.4 times 4, it's about $137 million in payroll. So if I divide that by, let's say, an $80,000 salary, so $137 million, 137, divided by, let's see here, how am I going to do this? The numbers are too big. $137 million. There we go. Divided by an $80,000 salary, just to get it annualized here, right? There we go. That'd be about 1,700 staff. It's pretty remarkable. I guess maybe. It seems like a lot. 17 million just to facilitate donations. It's like a 1.7% fee, I guess. Advanced aviation, so $7 million in private jet fees. You've got National Urban League. You're going to see this a lot. This is a civil rights organization. Most of these civil rights organizations are contributions to, nonprofits or institutions or groups that basically are trying to elevate impoverished areas, which are more likely to be black. And this is understandable. Kamala Harris is half black. But you're going to see a lot of these sort of contributions and donations. Here's $1 million to Oprah Winfrey's production group. I thought that was really interesting. Omni Chicago. She did a rally there on August 20th. You even see August 20th on the date here. And apparently just travel and lodging was $520,000. $500,000 for lodging at the Omni? Now, I know they did an event there, but they didn't cite it as event expense. That's another thing. That's just travel and lodging. That's crazy. Anyway, National Action Network. Here's another $500,000 to as a donation to another civil rights group. Vote to Live Action Fund, $275,000. Institute of Church Administration, that is for specifically black churches. Stop coming up, Adobe. You suck. I hate Adobe. Detroit Unity Fund, that's another one that focuses mostly on a black. I don't understand this. Amtrak, $180,000? How do you spend that much money on trains in 3 months? Whatever. Shutterstock, just for photo licenses? Dude, how do you spend $192,000 on photo licenses? It's just not that expensive to have a Shutterstock account. Black Economic Alliance, another $150K. Black Church, $150K. Contributions, donations. Casa in Action, this is for Latino, $120. Somos Votanes, I think that's another civil rights group, a Latino group right there. You've got National Bar Association, Voto Latino, Carious Democracy Project, 100K, 100K, 100K. You're kind of just like sort of throwing money at various different funds. Living United for Change in Arizona. These are just things that I noticed that I thought were worth highlighting. And if you look at the Wall Street Journal's analysis, they break it down like this. Kamala Harris spending $743.5 million at least, maybe even a little bit more at this point, and still losing. Donald Trump spending about $426 million. And as a result of this, now you've got Donald Trump posting on Truth Social that he will pay Kamala Harris's back $20 million as a form of unity. I think that's really just another troll, which is actually just, honestly, it's hilarious. So funny for Donald Trump. Kamala Harris probably does have the cash, left in the bank somewhere. The question is, where is the rest of that money going to go? And some people are actually speculating that she might run for governor in California. Please. No more. No more Pelosi, Newsom Democrats in California. Please. I'm sorry. I'm trying to sound neutral, but I ran for governor in California, and we need some serious change in California. All right, that's just my take. As far as media buys, I did think it was interesting too. Donald Trump did not spend as much money on media buys. Maybe that's because Elon Musk's PAC spent a lot of money. I don't think this funding right here includes the spending by like Elon Musk. So he spent like $120 million, but he got paid back, tens of billions of dollars in Tesla stock appreciation. So congratulations. Anyway, if you found this useful, consider subscribing, and folks, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Goodbye. Good luck.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.